Gordon was speeding through the beautiful countryside. He was having a wonderful day. But then he heard a horrible squeaking noise. Gordon was upset. Squeaking could only mean one thing. Something was wrong. What if Diesel's right? He thought. What if the Fat Controller scraps me?
Howdy y'all! Welcome back to another video. And today I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite episodes from the hit era. Squeak, Rattle, and Roll. I think the title of this episode gets its name from an old 50s song called Shake, Rattle, and Roll by Bill Haley. But anyhow, this episode features Gordon worrying about some awful noises that he's been making. I, and I'm sure many others, think that Gordon had some of his best episodes during the hit era. Now with all that being said, let's get into the video. So as per usual of a hit era episode, it starts out with a summary of the character that we are focusing on today.
Gordon is big and blue and the fastest engine on all of Sodor. He loves pulling the express. Gordon thinks it makes him the most important engine on the island.
And then once that is over, we get a scene at Brendam Docks where Gordon is pulling out with the express, when everybody's favorite oil leaker gets in the way. So Gordon tells him to move, and Diesel does so, but not before saying that steam engines are old and out of date.
You steamies are old and clapped out, he sneered. When the Fat Controller realizes this, you'll all be scrapped. Scrapped? Scoffed Gordon. Pah, I'm as fast as I ever was. And he chuffed proudly out of the docks.
After this interaction, Gordon puffs out of Brendam and onto the main line. He was going just fine until he started hearing an awful squeaking noise coming from his wheels.
A horrible squeaking noise. Gordon was upset. Squeaking could only mean one thing. Something was wrong.
Soon he reached his hill, where he realizes that if he goes slow, the noise stops.
The hill was steep and Gordon had to slow down. The slower he went, the quieter the squeak became. Gordon was delighted. Aha, he said. If I go slowly, no one will hear me squeak. And he chuffed slowly back to Tidmouth's sheds.
However, Gordon later finds out that this is only a temporary solution. The next day, Gordon had to take the Fat Controller and a bunch of kids to Brendam Docks for a boat trip. The Hat told Gordon this the night before, and so because of Gordon's squeaking, he waited until all the other engines had gone to work, and then went off to get his coaches. I found this a bit confusing because Sir Topham Hatt told Gordon the night before that the boat leaves at 9 in the morning, and I have a feeling he would have to wait quite a while for all the engines to leave. And also, who is taking the express instead of him? Sorry y'all, it seems I've gotten a little off track. So after Gordon left the sheds, he got his coaches and started heading that way. Everything seemed to be going well, until he began squeaking again. But not only did he start to squeak again, he also started to rattle.
Oh my, said Gordon. Then he heard something even worse. It was a rattle. Oh dear, he cried.
And so because of this, Gordon tried his previously discovered movement tech once again.
So Gordon slowed down.
After a while, he reached Knapford to pick up the Hat and the kids for their boat trip. And here I think is where the episode really starts to shine. Gordon has a moral dilemma. He can either get the children to the boat on time, or he can save his own hide.
If he went slowly, the children would miss their boat trip. But if he went quickly, The Fat Controller would hear his squeak and his rattle. He'd know Gordon was wearing out and send him to the scrapyard.
Soon Gordon leaves the station, very, very slowly. At first, things were going well for Gordon. He had been traveling slowly along the countryside. The Fat Controller hadn't gotten onto him about his speed yet, and he was feeling quite cheery. However, this didn't last long, as the Fat Controller was getting cross with him. At first, the Fat Controller scolded him for going too slowly.
"What are you playing at, Gordon?" he boomed. "You must go quickly or the children will miss the boat, and that will never do."
But then he encouraged him by telling Gordon that he's the fastest engine on Sodor.
"You are the fastest engine on the island."
This, of course, gave Gordon the push he needed to do the right thing. Here is where Gordon stops thinking about himself and starts prioritizing the task at hand. Here, he throws caution to the wind and does what needs to be done. Here is where we see Gordon's true nature. Gordon squeaked, Gordon rattled, and he also started making a knocking noise as well.
Then he heard another noise. A knocking noise. But Gordon didn't care. If this was his last trip, he was going to go as fast as he possibly could.
So I guess this episode should be called Squeak, Rattle, and Knock instead. Soon they reached Brendam, and waiting there was Salty, Henry, and Diesel. Salty and Henry were baffled while Diesel was just being an annoying oil leaker.
"Sounds like another steamy ready for the scrapyard," sneered Diesel.
But Gordon didn't care much. He was just happy he was able to get the kids to their boat on time. The kids were, of course, very thankful. And Sir Topham Hatt was proud of Gordon. But he was also confused as to why Gordon hadn't been to the repair yard and had his engine looked at. Gordon was also surprised as to why he hadn't done that either.
"I knew you could do it," said the Fat Controller, "but why haven't you been to the repair yard?" "The repair yard?" gasped Gordon. "You have been making lots of noises," said the Fat Controller. "You need to have your engine looked at." "So you're not going to scrap me?" asked Gordon. "Scrap Gordon," boomed the Fat Controller. "The fastest engine on Sodor. Who would pull the express?" Gordon beamed with pride.
But after Gordon got repaired, he was in tip-top shape. He wasn't making funny noises anymore. This episode is, of course, absolute cinema, and shows Gordon's extreme dedication to the jobs that he is given. Yes, Gordon can be pompous and arrogant, but that doesn't mean he isn't vital to the railway. He probably is the most important engine on Sodor, if we're being honest. This is one of my favorite Hit Era episodes, and I certainly hope it's yours as well. Thank y'all so much for watching the video. I really hope y'all enjoyed it. I'll be sure to put the link for my Discord server in the description down below, if anyone 13 and up is interested in joining. And please do let me know in the comments what y'all thought about the video. And now with all that said, I hope y'all have an amazing day. Bye-bye!